Hi, I'm Hazel from Wisconsin. Please like and subscribe. My older sister Maggie and I lived with our uncle who ran a small ice cream parlor. Ever since I was a kid, I was obsessed with being a superhero. I ran around saving cats from trees or giving free ice cream to poor kids, and I even wore a mask and a cape to look the part.
Wow, you're so cool, Hazel. Do you have any superpowers? Oh yeah, I can just sense it when people need my help. Did she tell you that she can fart like a chimpanzee too? No, I don't. Maybe like a rabbit. Whatever, stop embarrassing yourself. You look like a moron.
Maggie was 2 years older, and besides being really pretty, she was also the smartest girl in school. Literally everyone in the town adored her, while I was called the crazy kid with superhero syndrome. Some people really appreciated it, but sometimes it blew up in my face. Like this one time in 3rd grade, I was walking down the street with Maggie when we saw a homeless guy.
Here, you look like you need it more than me.
And what am I supposed to do with this half-eaten bagel?
You must be hungry, right? It's such a tough time to be homeless.
The guy looked at me confused before throwing the bagel across the street.
I'm not homeless, you freak. I just haven't taken a shower.
Maggie laughed like a maniac, and the guy kept screaming at me till I apologized. And the next day, everyone at school was making fun of me for it. Thanks to Maggie, I sometimes thought it was time to stop helping people out, but Uncle always encouraged me to keep going.
You have a heart of gold, Hazy. Never lose that.
Once when I was in 7th grade, Maggie became the youngest girl ever to win the National Math Olympiad. It was a big deal, and loads of people had gathered at the town center where the mayor was giving her an award. I was almost there when I saw an old truck driver struggling to change a tire.
Sir, I can help you with that.
Oh, thank you, but I can handle this.
I insisted, and he asked me to go get some more tools from the back of his truck. But just as I was getting out, my cape got caught in something, and I tripped, pushing bottles of something on the street, and it smelled like friggin' fish sauce. And it was a lot of fish sauce. The smell was unbearable. Within minutes, everyone started running away, and the ceremony was over. And boy, was Maggie pissed.
Why are you so annoying? You just had to steal my moment, didn't you?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
I'm sorry, nya nya nya. Every freaking time.
Maggie didn't talk to me for days. The fishy smell stuck around for a long time, and I became the butt of more jokes.
You know, I have the perfect name for you. Super Stinky.
Give it up already, fish sauce.
I didn't show it, but those words crushed me. I really thought being heroic was my thing. But I guess at some point it stopped being cute and people thought I was just weird. It was time to be regular, just like everyone else. Years passed and Maggie got busy with her college applications while Uncle tried to save his business. With so many ice cream parlors opening around town, he was facing stiff competition, which seemed to be stressing him out a lot. One time, my uncle got a huge order for a wedding reception, and he looked happy after such a long time. Maggie and I volunteered to help set up the table, and everything was going fine till suddenly the fridge stopped working.
It'll take the technician an hour to get here. Everything'll melt by then.
Don't worry, Uncle. I got this. Do you even know how to do this? How tough can it be? Besides, Uncle needs my help. Now let me work my magic. I repaired the plug within minutes, but just as I put it back in the socket, there was a slight crackle sound before the whole place blacked out. I'd accidentally caused a short circuit, and the technician told us it'll take at least 10 hours to get the system up and running. Kids howling, bride crying, and people yelling. Everything was a mess. We were thrown out immediately, and my uncle didn't even get paid. On our way back, I could feel him fuming in anger. I'd never seen him like this. I'm sorry, Uncle. I just wanted to help.
No one needs your help, Hazel. You're 15. Stop ruining things and start putting your energy into something useful.
You could take out the mask and cape again and work as a superhero impersonator. I hear little nerds hire those at birthday parties now. Shut up. I was super bummed at how my uncle scolded me. So after we got home, I slipped outside to walk around the neighborhood. But soon after, I noticed a tall guy fidgeting with a car. It was dark, so I couldn't see his face. And then the alarms went off. Oh my God, he was a thief. Hey, you, stop! Suddenly, he started running, and before I knew it, I was chasing a thief through the city. We finally stopped in front of a restaurant. That's when I noticed that it was Max, my school senior and a star football player.
Oh my God, You! Why are you chasing me?
Because you were running away.
That's because I thought you were some crazy criminal.
What? I'm half your size. Why would you think I'm a criminal?
Then why were you running after me?
Maybe because I thought you were stealing that car.
Stealing? That's my car, idiot. And I locked the keys in.
Yeah, right. That's what every thief says.
Ugh, my mom works at this restaurant and she has my spare keys. You want to follow me in and verify that, spy girl?
I did follow him in and got super embarrassed to find out he was telling the truth. I ran off feeling like a moron. I had to avoid Max forever now. But the next day at school, he pulled up a chair next to me.
What happened to your mask and cape?
Excuse me? Oh, that. Yeah, I stopped wearing it a while ago. People thought I looked crazy.
Really? I thought it was cool.
Apparently, Max was a big fan of comic books. After that day, he started talking to me a lot more, sitting next to me during lunch and walking home from school with me. He was a popular guy and got invited to tons of parties, but he never cared for any of that. He was just a regular guy doing his thing, and I liked that about him. Maybe a little more than I thought.
I want to be a comic book illustrator someday, but I don't know if it'll make me any money. I'm so confused.
I get it. I just want to help people, but I don't know how yet either. I'll figure it out. Things were good, and finally, I had a friend who didn't think I was weird. And even my uncle looked happier recently. He'd found a rich investor who promised to take his ice cream brand international. He'd even come up with this amazing new ice cream recipe and was excited for us to try it. I was lactose intolerant, but Maggie gobbled up an entire tub. This is amazing, Uncle.
You're my first customer. I'll be supplying it at your school for the winter dance, too.
That's great. Where did you get the recipe?
Oh, I just mixed a few flavors and worked my magic.
I wish I could taste just a little.
No way. You're allergic.
What kind of freak is allergic to ice cream? What do you eat when you break up? Oh, wait, you wouldn't know that since you've never dated. Just stick your nose in the ice cream and keep it out of my business. But later that night, I'd just drifted off to sleep when Maggie shook me awake. I don't feel too well. I feel like I'm gonna... We immediately rushed Maggie to the hospital, and it seems like she had some sort of stomach virus. She needed medicines and lots of rest. I took care of Maggie for the entire week. Even though she recovered in a couple of days, she kept acting like I was her servant. What's this? You call this soup? I'd rather drink cat piss. Oh my God, if I don't die of this tummy ache, I'll definitely die of boredom. Hazel, entertain me. Where's that dumb cape of yours? Act like Superman for me. So annoying. Thankfully, I had Max, and he was a huge help. He'd often come by and help me with homework while Maggie shouted orders like the Queen of Sheba.
Don't you get tired of all that howling?
You have no idea.
Listen, I was wondering if you'd like to go with me to the dance. That is, if you're not going with anyone else, because then it would be awkward, like...
Relax, Yappy. I'll go with you. We need to find matching costumes, though. I might have acted cool, but I was dancing inside to have Max as my date. But as always, Maggie had to ruin it for me. You're crazy if you think he's into you. You don't even know him. But I know his kind, and I definitely know you. Guys like Max can only date pretty cool girls. Say what you want, but the truth is that I get to go to the dance with a hot guy while you're stuck in the house. On the day of the dance, I raided Maggie's closet to find her best dress, and I could feel Max's eyes following me the entire time. The dance was great, and Uncle's ice cream stole the show. But the next day, the school was half empty, and Max wasn't picking up my calls either. Apparently, everyone who was at the event had caught a strange stomach virus, and the symptoms matched Maggie's. I went to check up on Max, and he confirmed it.
I was fine one moment and started throwing up like crazy the next.
Did you eat anything?
It was right after the dance. Maybe I had some ice cream, but honestly, I can't remember. And I don't even want to.
And that's when it hit me. Could the ice cream be the problem? That was the only common thing in all of this. Maggie got sick right after eating a tub.
Why are you looking at me like that?
No, sorry. I was just thinking about something else. You get well soon, so we can pick up from where we left.
And where was that exactly?
I kissed him on the cheek, and he blushed red as a tomato. Then I left to talk to my uncle about my suspicions. I went to the ice cream parlor, which was open, but Uncle wasn't there. Just then, I heard voices coming from the basement.
We need to call this batch back right now. So many kids got sick after eating it. Have you lost your mind? I'm the investor, and I say we go ahead. Calling this back and admitting our fault would destroy our reputation. We're not a little shop anymore. We're going big. Don't ruin it. And you still have to pay for your niece's college, no? Think about that.
Uncle looked really stressed as the guy left, and as soon as he saw me, his face turned white.
What are you doing here? Did you hear everything?
Yes, I did. What kind of evil man are you working with?
The business was suffering, and I needed the money. I knew he was a bit shady, but you girls are growing up, and I only wanted you to have a good life.
I get that, Uncle, but you have to tell the truth. Even if it means shutting down the shop and losing the money, we'll be just fine. And when we told everything to Maggie, she totally backed me up for a change. Uncle decided to make a public announcement by calling an emergency town meeting. As he began talking, I could see people getting angry.
Our kids are suffering because of your stupid ice cream. You should rot in jail.
Hey, let the man talk. Yeah, he made a mistake, but now he's here and he's owning up to it, which isn't an easy thing to do. You're angry and we get it, but he deserves to be heard. Uncle beamed at me and continued with his apology. He publicly admitted everything about the bad batches and how he'd called them all back. The investor had vanished into thin air, so Uncle had to pay heavy fines all by himself, and his shop was sealed by the food authorities. I'm sorry about the shop, Uncle, but we did the right thing.
You always do the right thing, Hazel, and I'm lucky to have you. You're my hero.
A year later, after all charges were cleared, Uncle's business license was returned and we started rebuilding the brand. Max and I were dating, and Maggie bagged a scholarship to an Ivy League college. So, you know what you're gonna do next? Yeah, I guess I'll be a politician and help people from a position of power. You sure can talk all day. So yeah, suits you. Just drop the cape and the mask. What are you saying? That's my statement symbol. I couldn't stop yawning. We were having an orientation program at our school auditorium, but everything was so boring. I put on my earphones and listened to an upbeat song to wake myself up. Soon, I just found myself singing along with it.
My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and they're like, it's better than yours. Yeah, right? It's better than yours.
Suddenly, I stopped when I realized that everyone was looking at me like I mercilessly kicked a puppy. Whoa, what did I do now? Just then, my sister Nova pointed to my earphones, and that's when I realized that my voice was louder than intended, and unfortunately, it was the prayer time. Oopsie. Hi, my name is Heather, and I'm your awkward main character who always ends up doing the most embarrassing things ever. Before I continue, please like and subscribe. I was walking down the hallway when I noticed a guy smiling at me. He was holding a banner which said that he was asking me to the prom. Holy crispy biscuits! Someone actually liked me? I dramatically ran towards him and said, "Oh, my Romeo, yes, yes, yes! I'm going to the prom with you!" But to my surprise, he pushed me away.
Ew, not you, weirdo.
He was actually asking the girl behind me. Well, that was a little awkward. The girl was Shannon, the principal's daughter, who acted like she was the queen of the world. She snatched the banner away from him and tore it in half.
How dare you ask me out with that ugly face of yours?
The poor guy dashed away with tears. Shannon had been plastering her stupid face all over the school the whole day, trying to get everyone's votes for the prom queen. I even heard her bad-mouthing my sister Nova, her ultimate rival. They had been competing in terms of fame and beauty, while here I was, just trying my best to act as normal as I could. Nova was a year younger than me, but we were in the same grade because, aside from being a goddess, she was also a genius and everyone was just obsessed with her. When I went to the school gym to see her, I was surprised to see all the boys lining up in front of her.
Please, Nova, I will do anything. Just go to the prom with me and I'll kiss the ground you walk on. I'll pay you $1 million and give you my private island.
But Nova was too busy to care. On the other hand, no one had asked me out yet. Maybe I needed to step up my game this time. Later that night, I decided to practice my social interactions. So I chose my bookshelf to pretend as my boyfriend. While I was kissing it, I caught someone watching me through the bedroom window across mine. Wait a minute, was that Enzo? He used to be my grumpy neighbor when we were kids, but they moved out 10 years ago, and no one had lived in their house since then. I was about to say hi to him, but he raised a banner to give me a message before closing off his window. Rude. During dinner, Mom told us that Enzo's dad decided to continue their business here, so they were staying here permanently. She also added that Enzo was joining our school too, and it made me excited for some reason. Later that night, while I was putting out the garbage bag outside, I saw him doing the same. I almost passed out when he turned to face me. He looked more handsome up close. Wow, look at you, growing up so fine. Miracles do happen indeed.
And you're still a waste of oxygen.
Look, I'm sorry for pushing you on an anthill and stepping on your flowers in your yard. I was just a kid back then. Can we forget the beef and start all over again? As friends, you know, and nothing else. I mean, you're cute, but sorry, you're not my type. But he just gave me a look like I was a lost turd in the street and walked back inside. What a jerk. I just focused on my current goal, getting myself a prom date. But first, I had to get a boy's attention. Most boys loved soccer, so I studied about it all night, and the next day, I walked up to the field where the hottest jocks were practicing and tried to join them. Soccer is the best. I love to kick balls real hard. Nice kick, homie! But everyone was acting like I was invisible. Maybe I should try harder. I grabbed a megaphone and walked up to the middle of the field. Did you know that soccer's modern origins began in England in 1863, but not sure about the exact month and day though. I'll dig into that later. And oh, my favorite player is Lionel Messiah. Finally, someone turned to me, and it was Jacob of all people, the most popular guy in school. Jackpot. As he walked up to me, I gave him my sweetest smile.
Excuse me, but can you move? We're practicing.
Oh, let me join you then. I snatched the ball from him and kicked it, but I ended up kicking him instead. Uh-oh. I dashed away from the field before he could kill me. Just then, I tripped and fell face first into some dog poop. When I looked up, I saw a familiar face walking up to me. It was Enzo. I thought he was going to help me, but to my surprise, he skipped over me and went to pick up a random sunflower on the grass. What a terrible human being! I went to the toilet to clean up and hyped myself up in the mirror to calm down. You're not a potato, you're the ripest strawberry, a queen, a rock star. You don't need to change yourself for someone's validation. Don't chase them. They should be the ones chasing you. But then, you're not running. You're literally standing right now, so how could they chase you? Maybe you should start running. Ah, you're so smart, you little strawberry. As I was blowing myself a kiss and posing like a constipated duck, I noticed someone's reflection behind me. It was Jacob. How long have you been standing there?
Long enough to fall in love with you?
Wow, did someone blackmail you or something? What are you doing here?
I'm here to punish you for kicking me.
But it was a harmless little kick. Or was it an assault? Oh no, I'm going to jail. Do you think they have Wi-Fi there?
You're amusing. Want to be my girlfriend?
Pinch me, punch me, shake me, throw me away to Mars. I might be dreaming. But no, Jacob, the cutest guy in school, just asked me out, so of course, I said yes. We finally started dating, and everyone couldn't believe it, especially Shannon. I'm sure Jacob's just using you for some little entertainment because you're literally a joke and an embarrassment. Remember? He's mine. He's yours, but he's dating me. Weird. Go lick some soap, please. How dare you talk to me like that? Don't you know who I am? You're Shannon, right? Before she could eat me alive, Nova suddenly came and snatched me away from her. What are you doing? What? I didn't do anything. I just told her to go lick some soap. Please, Heather, just stay out of trouble. You'll never win against her. She's the principal's daughter. If we continue to piss her off, we'll be doomed. I still need to be the prom queen and graduate as the top student. Just relax, okay? I got you. I knew Nova wasn't convinced, so I promised myself to behave. I ignored Shannon's death glares at school and focused on the perks of dating Jacob. But for some reason, I wasn't feeling the sparks. One night, he insisted on having dinner with us at home, and Mom couldn't believe it when I introduced him as my boyfriend. Are you sure you're not blind or something? Mom! Jacob just laughed while Nova went ahead to her room. As soon as Jacob left, she suddenly barged into mine. Of all the boys, why him? Don't you find it suspicious that he noticed you all of a sudden after all of these years? Why?
You find it impossible for a guy like him to actually like a nutcase like me?
It's not like that. I just don't really trust that jock. I started to realize Nova's warning over the next few days. Whenever Jacob and I were together, he would always ask me to do some weird things like talking to a dog and eating without using my hands. He and his friends would then laugh at me like crazy, and it was very insulting. One time after lunch, I had a little food crumb near my nose, and he didn't tell me about it. Everyone thought it was a booger, and he'd been laughing with them all day. I finally had enough. I needed to break up with him, so I followed him to an empty classroom, only to witness something that shook my world. He was trying to kiss a girl, and it wasn't just any other girl. It was my sister. I hid behind a wall to listen to their conversation.
Get off me, you jerk. Come on, Nova. Don't you get it? I only dated your sister just to get close to you.
I don't care. Just leave me and my sister alone. She slapped him before storming off, leaving me totally stunned. His revelation didn't break my heart, but what he did to us was so low of him. I had to teach him a lesson. That weekend after their successful soccer game, I snatched the announcer's mic and dropped a bomb on them. Hi, hello, excuse me. Jacob, first of all, congratulations on the win. Yay! And second, we're done, okay? This is a breakup, and it's not you, it's me. Just kidding, it really is you because you're boring, your breath is stinkier than poop, and your abs are not hard enough for me. So, bye! Everyone erupted into laughter as I walked away, like a boss. Nova couldn't stop squealing about it when we got home. Of all the embarrassing things that you did, that was my favorite. We then decided to go to prom together, and to be honest, that sounded better. As Nova left, I caught myself glancing at my window straight to Enzo's. He was walking back and forth in front of his window while reading a book, and it was making me dizzy. Well, if he wasn't so grumpy and arrogant, that would have been attractive. It had only been a few weeks since he joined our school, but he had already formed his own fan club, and I wasn't surprised. Suddenly, he stopped and looked straight at me. I slowly and pointedly pulled out my chair, sat, leaned on my study table, and opened the book in front of me while making eye contact. Then I wrote something on a piece of paper and showed it to him. He looked amused for a second, but then he rolled his eyes at me before pulling his blinds closed. Wait a minute, why was I smiling? The next day at school, I found out that Shannon got mad because Nova accidentally ruined one of her posters. And now they were having the cat fight of the century. I threw myself between them and pushed Shannon away. Oh, please, Shannon. No matter how hard you try, my sister's gonna win that crown. You're just a plain pancake with 1,000 layers of makeup. My sister is way prettier than you. She's a natural. Natural? Let's make it artificial then. She grabbed a bucket of dirty water from the janitor's cart and splashed it on Nova's face. To get back at her, I grabbed the dirty mop and slapped it on her stupid face, taking everyone by surprise. Hurt my sister again, and I'll slap you with a cactus next time, you filthy creature. You're gonna pay for this. You'll see. That's right. Run home to mommy, because that's all you can do. As expected, the principal suspended both Nova and me for 2 weeks, and that also meant that we couldn't attend prom. Nova tried to negotiate with the principal, but of course, she'd side with her awful daughter. If my sister couldn't be the prom queen, then Shannon shouldn't be either, and I had to do something about it. After carefully planning my revenge, I put on a mask, gloves, and a hoodie, and some props before heading to Shannon's mansion at midnight. I hid behind some bushes as I waited for their front porch light to be turned off. Suddenly, someone popped in beside me.
Fancy seeing you here.
Holy puppies, what are you doing here? Did you follow me?
Judging by your outfit, I knew you were about to do something stupid again, so I just came to warn you that trespassing is illegal, and we should just go home.
Why do you care anyway? You're just my grumpy neighbor. Just then, 2 scary black dogs started barking behind us. Oh no, I know I'm not exactly pageant material, but do I look like a bone? Please, don't answer that. Just then, the dogs started chasing us. Enzo grabbed my hand and led me to the back of the house. We then entered an open window and ended up in the kitchen.
We can't stay here. We're gonna get caught.
Don't you think I know that? Remove your shoes. We can't leave marks. They can trace us through shoe marks. I've watched that one episode of CSI where the serial killer was caught because of his Adidas. Can you believe it? Suddenly, someone walked in. Enzo was quick to cover my mouth and pushed me against the wall to hide. As he was on high alert, I couldn't help but think how close we were right now. I could even feel his heartbeat racing. Or was it mine?
She's gone. Now tell me, what exactly do you plan to do for revenge?
Watch me. As we finally reached Shannon's bedroom, I took out my fake crocodile balloon, and while I was blowing it up, I noticed Enzo staring at me. What?
Nothing. You're cute.
Wow, I didn't expect that from you.
Sorry about being grumpy. Those were just the times that I had my period.
I continued blowing up the balloon to hide my blush, and when it was huge enough, I threw it beside the sleeping Shannon, waking her up. I started taking Polaroid pictures of her as she screamed her heart out, making sure I got her worst angles. Enzo and I were chuckling as we fled the scene. We then headed to the school to put up all Shannon's ugly, no makeup pictures all over the school. I got home still on a high about what we just did. Enzo was an amazing accomplice. Speaking of him, I turned to look at his window and my jaw dropped. He looked like he had just had a bath, and then I realized he was shirtless and I could see his abs. His very defined abs. Holy yummy macaroni! Just then he turned to me and caught me drooling all over him. I immediately pretended to be doing exercise by the window. Exercise is important, you know, especially at midnight. Not that you need that information. Like, look at your body, you obviously work out. You look healthy.
You look healthy too.
He then gave me a smile and shut his window. Ugh, that was awkward. The next day at school, the whole building was filled with Shannon's screams. Enzo and I couldn't help but laugh as we watched her tear off her pictures like an idiot. We became closer since then, and soon I just found myself falling for him. One day when I came down, I saw him in our living room. What was he doing here?
Hey, Heather, I want to ask you something.
Oh my gosh, was he finally gonna ask me out on a date?
Is Nova home? I came to return her notes.
Oh, so they were close too. Nova? Yeah, she's here, definitely. This is her house too. Let me get her. I went upstairs and told Nova that Enzo was waiting for her. She went down and they kept talking. I even heard them laughing, and for some reason, it sounded annoying. Enzo and Nova continued hanging out with each other. Of course, if he likes someone, that would be her. I shouldn't be surprised at this point. I decided to distance myself from him. I would act busy whenever he approached me at school. I didn't want another Jacob situation. I had to get over my crush before it was too late. But it wasn't easy, especially since every time I spoke to Nova the past week, she would be like, Enzo this and Enzo that. Did you know that Enzo is excellent at math? Oh, Enzo prefers salty food too. So that weekend, when Nova asked me to hang out with her and Enzo as a favor, I told her I was busy planning on stalking them. They went to the park to feed some ducks, and I was extremely jealous. Suddenly, it looked like he was about to kiss Nova. I jumped out of the bushes and screamed, "Stop! Don't kiss!"
What?
There's an insect. There, it's gone now. Well, hey, you two. Such a coincidence to see you both here.
Are you spying on us?
I'm no spy, you dork.
I thought you were busy.
I was. Anyway, I just realized that I need to go home. I left something in the kitchen when we went out, and I needed to make sure it didn't burn or something. That's why I've been acting anxious. That's right, I need to go home. But I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the day. Bye! Ugh, that was a disaster. But when Nova got home, she kept insisting that I was jealous. Fine, I was jealous, okay? But it was just a crush. You don't have to worry about it. I'll get over it soon enough. Just, can you please try to not bring him up every time?
Heather, there's nothing going on between us. Every time we hang out, we talk about you. I asked you to come with us today because he said that you've been avoiding him.
What? The guy is in love with you, you fool. Her revelation almost made me pee my pants. Thank God I was able to reach the bathroom just in time. I was expecting Enzo to talk to me about it, but to my disappointment, all he did was shut his window and avoid me at school. Weird. The day of the prom finally came, and Nova and I decided to crash the event, and everyone was so hyped up when we came with our iconic outfits. Shannon was about to throw some fit, but then the announcer came up on stage to finally announce the winners. As expected, Jacob won the prom king, and Nova as the queen. Deserved. This is unacceptable. She was disqualified because of her suspension. Shannon tried to snatch the crown from Nova, but some people picked her up and threw her out. Serves her right. I was about to look for Enzo among the crowd when I suddenly crashed into the table of drinks. Everyone turned to me as I bathed in orange juice. Just then, someone approached me and started wiping the juice off my face. Enzo!
You silly girl.
What are you doing?
Taking care of you.
Why?
Because I like you. I like how weird and awkward you are, and how loud your personality can be. I'm drawn to how real you are. I'm in love with you, Heather. Everything about you.
Well, I guess I like your abs. He chuckled and finally asked me the ultimate question.
Will you be my prom queen?
I thought you'd never ask. Everyone then cheered for us as we finally kissed.